AITA for kicking my sister and her family out in the middle of the night in a different country. So I 28F have moved to the US 3 years ago with my husband 30M after getting our green cards approved. We moved to Central Florida, notorious for all its tourist attractions. Since we moved, my sister 33F and her family husband 37M, nephew 13M and niece 11F have visited every year around this time. We love to host and even bought a house to accommodate family and friends visiting 2-guest bed. The issue started on the third day of their visit. I left the night before for a night shift at the hospital and my husband had a very early one. When I got home by 1 p.m. I found my puppy, 9-month, locked in the garage. He doesn't have access to that area because there is no AC there. This is Florida in the summer. And I am afraid he will run away when the door opens. It was pure luck that he was laying down so close to the entry door, or I could have ran him over before I saw him. He was lethargic and breathing heavily, so I immediately took him to the vet. He was overheated and dehydrated. And he could have passed if I hadn't gotten there when I did. I finally returned home at about 7 p.m. When I entered I instantly saw my favorite vase. I got it from my late grandma, wasn't in the center table. I opened the trash only to find it there, in pieces. I was already fuming about my puppy. When I pulled up the images from the house cameras I had recently installed BC of the dog. In the images I saw that at 9ish the kids said goodbye to my husband and their parents, and when they left, they proceeded to discuss whose turn was it to break something. My nephew argued that he had done it last year, so it was my niece's turn. My niece then proceeded to throw one grass on the floor. At which point my puppy got fussy and started barking. They got annoyed so they took him to the garage before returning, picking up my vase and smashing on the floor. When their parents returned they simply said they had an accident. My sister cleaned it up and they made their way to the parks. My blood boiled. I immediately packed their bags and put it by the door. My husband arrived and helped out. As soon as they arrived I told them how their kids behaved, that they caused harm to my dog and broke something irreplaceable to me. My sister tried to argue that it was an accident and that they're just kids, and I shoved the video into her face. She still tried to argue, saying we were family and she didn't have money to pay for S hotel for the rest of the trip and it was the middle of the night. I simply stated I didn't care and she had to take her little monsters away from me. She left screaming and then crying. Obviously, this morning I woke up to several messages in the family group calling me all sorts of names for kicking them out in a different country and how I was being mean. My mom wrote about how disappointed she was at me. I didn't have the energy to reply to anyone back yet, but before I do, AITA. New story. AITA for refusing to cancel a $500 VIP ticket knowing that my parents would not allow it, causing tension in family. Background: I 20F bought a VIP ticket in May for a concert in the end of July that was close to $500. I had worked very hard that month to be able to pay for it, but I did not consult my parents before making this decision. My parents, dad is 40 and mom is 42, are conservative and Christians. This is on the back of me being upset for not being allowed to go to a concert with some friends the day that we hit a deer, and them not liking that I would not shut up about being upset and letting them know I was not happy with dealing with consequences for something that did not harm us, as well as a just settled argument between my parents. Story. I was planning on telling them in July on my birthday so that they would likely let me go, but unfortunately they checked my bank statements and saw the payment before I could tell them myself. These disagreements have caused a lot of tension and we are getting more on edge the closer the concert gets. My sister F22 and brother M14 have said that they understand that I will not cancel the ticket, but that I went about the wrong way and should have told my parents before I bought it, especially knowing how they are. My parents since the finding of the ticket have been on my back about canceling it and say that I am humiliating, disrespecting, and undermining their authority as parents for saying that I will not cancel the ticket. They have lectured me multiple times on this and seem to not like that I also give them my opinions on the matter when I should just obey what they say, as they are my parents and should just be obedient, as the Bible says to honor your father and mother. These last couple of weeks have been hard, as now that my parents are sort of excluding me, my siblings have had to step in filling in what I would usually do around the house and with helping my parents with their various chores or business they need to take care of. My siblings are quieter than they have been and my parents are more upset than usual with us, which has us walking on eggshells. From my parents' viewpoint they have said that as my parents they deserve to know any decisions I make and that me not consulting them was not right. They are upset that I did not communicate with them and that I am not obeying their world when as Christians we should not be associating with these worldly activities. They have let me know that I am hurting their feelings by not understanding that me going is putting me in danger and causing me to sin, that they are only looking out for me and don't want me to go down a path that could damage my well-being.